What is up, y'all? Capone Tony here, and welcome to the Ever Crisis Monster Hunter crossover. So, new event just kicked off, a lot of stuff going on, but the first thing I want to dive into is the new banner that we just got. It's a crossover banner. So, this is limited weapons, limited gear. Well, the gear is typically usually limited, but the weapons usually means in a crossover means usually the weapons are very good, but they're limited. You can only get them in this banner while this banner lasts. As far as we know, we haven't had any kind of reruns before as of yet. Well, alright, let's go into it. First, let's go into Cloud. This is Cloud and Zack, by the way. So we got the Glavenus Armor. And honestly, I think the color scheme looks pretty cool. The red and blue. I kind of wish it was that, that armor was like covering him more instead of just like the black clothes. Like there's this one shoulder pad and he's got like a booby plate, he's covering his man boobs, I don't know. And he's got one wrist pad or whatever, or armor, I don't know, man. I'm not sure how I feel about this from an aesthetic standpoint. And the back just kind of bland. The sword looks really dope though. I kind of like that sword design. But honestly, I think it looks fine. It looks okay, but probably not, one of my favorite costumes. Anyway, let's go into it. The costume's got boost 10 to PATK, which is interesting. We don't get much of this anymore for PATK because usually there's so many weapons now that boost PATK, so it's kind of surprising to see it on a costume. And then you got physical ability mastery, which is this is the second costume now that has this specific stat. Last time we've seen this was Cowgirl Tifa from the Rebirth crossover banner. That was way back. I don't even know how long ago that was now. So yeah, that's probably like 3 or 4 months ago. And yeah, it's actually a really good stat. So if you actually max out your physical ability potency, you can kind of boost your cap, that increase that cap to another 15%. So having this on your character is, great for like, you can just do like any kind of damage with like materia and, still do really good damage. So, yeah, like if you don't have a Quake specific weapon for Cloud, which he doesn't right now, this is an example, by the way. He doesn't have a C ability Quake attack, then you can just put on a Quake materia with this costume and you'll still do pretty good Quake damage, right? So, good costume based on the stats anyway. So let's actually go into the weapon, the Glavenus sword, or Glavenus, I don't know, man. So the Fierce Charge Slash. So at OB 0 120, it's a 530% physical 9 amounts of damage with a crit. P-def is decreased mid, and it maxed out at mid. When your self is HP is 50% or more, P attack is increased self mid, and it maxed out at mid. OB6, the P attack is increased, goes to high, maxed out at high, obviously. P-def stays at mid and maxed out at mid, and the damage goes to 740% physical 9 elements of damage, and then it goes to 850 mid for P-def, and then high again for P-attack is increased, but the duration lasts a little bit longer at OB10. So actually the R abilities are interesting because Cloud, holy crap, 62 HP. That's a lot. It's make Cloud a freaking tank. But 62 HP and 39 physical ability potency at OB10, 5427 at OB6, and 4012 at OB0. So yeah, pretty good R abilities. So I can understand why the P attack was on the costume because he's not getting it from his sword. So yeah, it's probably a reason why. Special materia, P attack slot, boost fire potency or fire ability damage, which is interesting, and then a sigil boost. So yeah, what's telling me about this fire ability slot is probably the event boss. I haven't checked it out yet. But Rathalos, he's probably weak to fire. That's what I'm gonna assume. But yeah, so what do I think of this weapon? I think it's pretty good, but the way I see it is that I would use this weapon as probably a sub-weapon for Cloud, because this weapon is very similar to, if you are here for FF9 banner, the Amulet Claws for Tifa, except this is just a little bit better in terms of the actual C ability. So Amulet Claws did the same thing here, where she would boost herself, her her own P attack. She would start out at mid, it would go to high, and yeah. So, but the better thing about this compared to Armor Claws is you're automatically getting a P-Def is decreased buff on top of that. So, pretty dope. And I think it's actually stronger than Armor Claws as well, based on the physical 9 elemental damage. But when you're looking at, 850 is not bad for OB. I mean, that's OB10 to get to 850. It's not bad, but it's not great either. Like, an OB10 Murasame at 750% with that huge boost to its sub ability with the lightning boost, lightning potency, is going to be doing more damage than this. So I would say you're probably using this weapon as a support. Like start out the battle with doing a P-Def decrease, boosting your attack, and then using your other weapon to do, the main damage. That's what I'm kind of feeling from this anyway. You're not going to be using this as a main damage dealing weapon based on what I'm seeing. So that's just my opinion. So yeah, it's a great weapon, and you can pretty much combine it with any of Cloud's main damage dealing weapons. So like if you look at his kit, and Cloud's got so many freaking weapons like Sky Splitter, Maritime, Murasame, like all these weapons do fantastic elemental damage. So combining this with any of those weapons, or any like the limited weapons he had too, like the ice weapon he got from the half anniversary crossover. So, or even the Zidane sword possibly too, right? Because you'll be even doing more you'll be doing more damage with Zidane sword if you combine it with this sword. But honestly, you're probably going to want to combine it with like an elemental weapon. At least that's what I'm thinking, So that's my initial analysis on Cloud. Let's go into Zack now. So I think Zack, I think this Zack costume looks pretty dope. I actually like this design actually way more than Cloud's. So the reason why is, the armor is like covering more of Zack. I like the color scheme here, the kind of the golden greenish, whatever. I think the sword looks really cool. You got the two colors for the boots. And the back, it kind of looks almost like a little a hoodie back here. He's got two shoulder pads. Yeah, I like this. I'm digging this costume for Zack. I think it looks dope. So, what was it? The Zinogre Armor? Zinogre? I don't know, man. But it's really good. So you got physical ability potency, and you got lightning Arcanum. Arcanum. So 35% extra lightning damage. This is the second character in the game that's gotten lightning Arcanum. The first one that got it was Cloud on the first banner. What? 8-9 months ago. So yeah, they've been very stingy with lightning Arcanum. So Zack's the second one that got it. And this weapon here, OB0 120 you get 520% physical lightning damage, and then you get this 1.2% multiplier if your HP is 70% or more. So just like the Yuffie banner, like a few weeks ago, she pretty much had a similar weapon to this, except it was Quake. And yeah, but this one even does even more elemental damage than her Quake weapon did. The only drawback that I'm seeing to this weapon, so let's actually keep looking at it. You go to 780% at OB6, which is kind of crazy because Murasame at OB10 is 750, even without a 1.2% multiplier if your HP is 70% or higher. So this weapon is, totally outclassed Murasame now. And then you look at this, 940 and a 1.2 multiplier. The only downside to this weapon is the P attack stat 31 at OB10. That is low. That's like really low. But the lightning potency 39 at OB10, I think that's like about average. It's not great, but it's not bad either. And then you get P attack, X sigil. And 667 attacks, pretty good. So yeah, I mean, this is just a great, just lightning dealing, damage dealing weapon. Honestly, if I were to pull on one of these two characters specifically, I would pull on Zack, just based on my account needs. I think my Cloud is like pretty good the way he is right now. He has Zidane sword. He has like two or three of those elemental weapons with costumes. So he's kind of built out pretty well already. My Zack is not built very well, and if I were to pull on this banner, I would pull on Zack specifically. All our accounts are different, and yeah, I think Zack, the only downside, yeah, the only real downside is that really low P attack stat for whatever reason. But this damage is just insane for a elemental build. So, yeah, I like Zack. I like it. I like it a lot. But, yeah, let's actually look at what you can combine with this weapon for Zack. So, I mean, for Zack, typically you always have like 3 weapons. You go Ceremonial Sword, mainly just because of this P attack buff. So you can boost your P attack to start the battle, and then you just go crazy with lightning damage. It's got a good P attack ability, or R ability, and the physical ability potency, so that goes well with it. Then you also have Twinkling Star. You're going to get HP, get physical ability potency, but the cool thing about this is you're going to be decreasing the enemy's defense, so you can start out with a defense debuff, and then just go in with lightning damage. Or you could do the same thing with Black Whiskers. The water resist is kind of irrelevant, but you know, decreasing physical defense and then going in with damage. And this has a really good P attack stat too. So if if the other weapon is kind of struggling with P attack, then you can kind of just max it out with Black Whiskers or Ceremonial Sword. So yeah, those are the 3 I would recommend to go along with Zack's weapon. And yeah, that pretty much covers it. I am still going to wait to draw on this because if you looked at this, man, July 2nd, 2024, this thing is going on for a long ass time. So there's really no rush if you're kind of like contemplating and just trying to, you know, want to see what's to come next. Actually, let's go in the stamp card too. So the stamp card is kind of structured how it was in the Rebirth crossover. You get 1 guaranteed weapon on the first page, and then you get 2 guaranteed weapons on the second page. The third page, you also get 1 more. So 4 guaranteed if you pull 3 pages deep. So yeah, they kind of help you out a little bit because these weapons are limited. I think it's not as good as the half anniversary. I think there was more guaranteed in the half anniversary, but you know, still, you know, helpful overall. So yeah, me personally, I'm going to wait and see what the next banners bring us. We already know Tifa and Aerith are coming. We're not sure if they're going to be on a banner together or if they're going to be separate. They might be separate because, you know, this crossover is lasting a long time. And yeah, they're probably gonna, I would say I would think they'd probably separate them, kind of like they did with FF9 crossover, because that crossover also started with 2 characters, with Cloud and Tifa, and then eventually they added Aerith, Sephiroth, and someone else. The last character I'm kind of blanking out on. I think it was just those 2, Aerith and Sephiroth. But yeah. So yeah, no rush. If you're contemplating this, you know, I would say just wait. But yeah, if you're dying for a Lightning Arcanum, I know a lot of people are, especially if you're not a day 1 player. You know, you can't go wrong with the Zack one. But just as a reminder, these are limited weapons. These weapons are not going to come back. As you know, as far as we know, we haven't had reruns or anything yet. And yeah, if you're going to pull on this, you got to pull deep. You're most likely going to need to go 2 or 3 pages deep, because you're always going to want to aim for OB6 when it comes to these weapons. And I would say, you know, getting only a couple of clouds is, you can probably, you know, I would say if you get like OB2 or whatever on this, I think that's probably pretty good, because you're, like I said, you're kind of using this weapon for the utility and not the damage. But if you're pulling specifically for Zack, you're kind of want to get that weapon to OB6 at least, because you're gonna want more damage. You're gonna want to make it worth it, right? So for Cloud, I don't think it's super necessary to get OB6, but for Zack, I would aim for that. So yeah, it's limited. Just be aware. Sometimes the gacha guides will not, you know, satisfy you, and you could be going really deep in this, so be prepared, you know. And right now I could probably pull 3 pages if I were to go for something, if I have decent luck, you know. But, you know, see how it goes. I am going to wait. I'm personally going to wait for Aerith, because I think her costume, all my Aerith costumes are kind of dated except Prism Dress, and I kind of want something new. I hope they give her a healing Arcanum or a healing Mastery. That would be dope. I'd probably pull on that. For Tifa, I honestly don't know what they would do for her yet. But, yeah, I'm excited for this crossover, man. This banner's pretty good, but I'm going to wait and see before I make any moves on it. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know what y'all think of this banner. Are there any things that I did not consider? Anything? Are y'all going to pull on it? Let me know in the comments below. But, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. And yeah, if you enjoyed this Ever Crisis content, please give it a like, comment, subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. Later.